Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. My name is Derek DeBurger. With me is Sam Roth.
How we doing, guys?
We started this week's episode off with a little bit of GOAT talk. That's right.
Absolutely.
Caitlin Clark, she did it. She's the GOAT.
She sure did.
And she sure is. We also talk about Chris Holtman being fired at Ohio State. Who could replace him? We talk about Rick Pitino's explosive, inflammatory comments on his own team and his own facilities. The NBA, what they're going to do with the G League Ignite. We talk about Washington football and hiring a lot of big-name coaches.
And then also we talked about Brittany Griner getting her jersey retired, put up in the Raptors in Waco, and will Kim Mulkey be in attendance?
She will not, I guarantee it. And then, as always, we do our pick'ems. So please join us in the episode. Thank you for watching.
And don't forget to like and subscribe,
That's true.
guys.
Do that. Do
Appreciate
that too.
it.
Bye-bye.
These damn khakis.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the College Town Podcast. Caitlin Clark she did it. She's the
You did not just do that to me.
Yeah, sure I did.
Oh, my God.
Put that whole thing in there. It's great.
I know I am. This is going to suck.
Yeah, Logo 3.
Oh, my
Very
gosh.
fitting.
It was
great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Greatest player of all time, I think, in women's.
Definitely.
I didn't realize she was as good a passer through her entire career as she is.
I mean, like,
she's averaging 8 assists for her career, not just this season. This season, it's like 8 point whatever.
Yeah. It's interesting. She's very dominant. Greatest of all time. It was like, I'm not saying she's not, but I just want to like throw some names out there and be like, is she better than these players? And it's like ones that come to mind are like Maya Moore, Breanna Stewart, Brittany Griner, Cheryl Miller. That's about it for me.
Yes, she's better than them.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but the game has changed.
Oh yeah.
She
can make any shot.
It's more, the field is infinitely deeper. There's more parity than there ever was. Also, she's at Iowa. She doesn't have the same talent. Like, if she was at UConn, if she was playing with Paige Beckers, oh my God.
Buchers,
It's Beckers.
It's Buchers.
Beckers.
No, there's
the U is silent.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
I have heard people say Beckers.
Really? I thought it was Buchers.
Yes. No, it's because everyone thinks it's Buchers when you see it.
I think
it's Beckers.
Oh. She's coming back.
She is, yeah. She said she's coming back for another year.
Mm-hmm. Will Caitlin come back for another year?
I don't know, because I was very like, yeah, of course she's going to come back for a while. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, the endorsements, they're going to be there still.
At both, whether you leave or not,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, the endorsements are still going to be there. The question is, does she want to, how does this year end, and does she want to stay to do something more? Because you're going to get a paycheck.
Regardless.
Yeah. You're going to get a paycheck through endorsements, but also if you go pro, you're going to get a paycheck, period. Like, it becomes your job. You don't have to worry about the fake school aspect of it. Because she probably had got her degree like a year and a half ago at this point. But I don't know. I have no clue if she's going to stay or go.
A hell of a player, though.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that she's not even on the best team.
No, she's not. South Carolina is so
is just head and shoulders above everyone else.
Like there was a week where they didn't have Cardoso, and it was like, okay, it's time to get him, people, and no one even touched him. No one got close. Georgia got close this weekend, but
sort of. But then
for
it was
half, and then they got blown out.
It was like 13-point win for them. It wasn't like
they lost by. South Carolina beat Georgia by like 20 something.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 26
I remember,
or something like that. They were down 7 at halftime. That's crazy. They're just so good.
Oh my gosh, they're ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, they were better last year. Caitlin Clark showed that they're beatable.
No, they won by 14.
What was it, 14? I must have read it wrong. You were definitely much closer than me. But
that's all right. But yeah.
That's going to be a fun tournament because I think that's the deepest it has ever been. I think this year is the deepest women's basketball has ever been.
There's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of teams that are like,
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. There will be. I don't think the upsets will be as significant as like the men's will be, where you'll
No,
see.
it never is.
No,
Unfortunately.
like, but you're gonna see like some 6 and 3s are gonna be fun to watch.
Yes.
Some 5s and 1s or 1s and 4s or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I mean, just last season, Ole Miss, who was an 8 seed, beat the 1 seed in their bracket, Stanford.
Right.
So
That's good.
yeah,
It's fun to watch.
It's great. I'm excited for it. I'm ready for February to end because
You're over Valentine's Day.
the weather. I don't care about Valentine's Day anyway. The weather is just up and down here.
Yeah, it is. We're back to it being warm again.
I need tournament. Yeah. Yeah. No,
We're really talking about the weather.
Look, man. It's something people talk about here.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, let's move on from that.
Let's continue with the other women's basketball story.
Yeah.
So Brittany Griner is getting her jersey retired by Baylor.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah. Kim Mulkey had a rule at Baylor where
The devil.
yes, as we both hate her guts.
Mm-hmm.
She had a rule while she was at Baylor. Basically, came out and said that while she's at Baylor, Brittany Griner is not getting her jersey retired. And the reason for it is because she stated a rule where there's a rule where for a player to get their jersey retired, they have to finish their degree. Well, Brittany Griner has gone back to college, gone back to school at Baylor, and she's gotten her degree now. And it seems like Baylor's doing her right by retiring her jerseys because I don't think this is an argumentative statement to make that she was, if not is, the greatest defender in women's basketball of all time.
Like rim defender.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She led that team to a 40-0 wins in 2012.
Mm.
And I mean, like, just absolutely dominant. Now, the interesting thing about this is, like, will Kim Mulkey be there? Because
No,
I
she won't be there.
honestly think Brittany Griner doesn't want her to be there
No.
because of a couple of things.
Yes.
One, while Brittany Griner was at Baylor, Kim Mulkey told her to basically stay in the closet, not come out, not affect the program that way.
Yeah, because she's a garbage human.
Yeah, that. And then also, I didn't do this either, but I'm just saying, like, Kim Mulkey, when they was asked questions about Brittany Griner's detainment in Russia.
Yeah, and she was like, I have nothing to say about that.
Right, which is kind of insane.
Which is in and of itself saying, like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. Kim Mulkey is a
garbage.
She's a human dumpster fire. She's terrible. She's awful. She's the devil. She's the devil. And so I'm so happy for Brittany Griner for getting her jersey retired.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want Kim Mulkey there.
She's definitely getting the recognition she fully deserves.
LSU probably plays a game anyway, but like, it's God. Kim Mulkey just sucks.
But I feel like that's a common thing to have former coaches, if they're available, to be in attendance. Or
it's a very common thing, yeah.
For that retirement, because it's like usually 9 times out of 10 there's a good relationship there, because if you are retiring a jersey, that means that relationship had to be pretty good to get that jersey retired. But then it's also like Brittany Griner was just so dominant at her position and what her abilities were that even with the tumultuous relationship she had with Mulkey, she still was able to get stuff done.
Yes. I mean, as much as I hate her, Kim Mulkey's still a good coach, but like Brittany Griner made her career.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like she would not be getting paid what she is getting paid at LSU if Brittany Griner didn't come to Baylor.
Right.
It's simple as that. It's a plain fact.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, terrible. Great for Brittany Griner.
Absolutely. What we got?
Yeah. No, let's talk about Ohio State.
Okay.
That was a big thing that happened. It kind of happened right after we
recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're a little late to the.
We're like a week late, unfortunately.
But hey.
Yeah. So Ohio State mid-season fired their head coach in basketball, Chris Holtman. I mean, I can't say I'm like. The fact that it happened mid-season, I'm a little surprised, but the fact that he was fired, I'm not surprised. He just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
But it's also funny because they made the fire, and then their very next game, they play Purdue, and they go out and they beat Purdue.
They beat Purdue.
Yeah. First game without the coach.
Who, like...
So it does make you wonder if they're beating Purdue.
The talent was there.
I mean, like...
That's what everyone's said all year long. The talent is there. It's just Holtman's not getting anything from it.
Man. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but do you think if they would have made this fire earlier, that they could have salvaged the season and maybe made the tournament?
No, I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is the talent is there, but the thing is it's very young.
Mm.
Like that's what they've been the last 2 years. They made a concerted effort to try and go young. They were like, no, we're not going to really. While everyone's zigging with the transfer portal, we're going to zag and do what everyone was doing. Everyone was trying to do back in 2015, and we're just going to try to get all the one and dones, which they did get one and dones. They put guys into the NBA draft. They had guys that got drafted. They had talented rosters. They just didn't win games. And I don't know. Everyone that is close to Chris Holtman, everyone who's had a relationship with him, says he's an incredible guy. Says he's an awesome person.
Hey.
But just...
We got a coach like that.
Yeah, we do. But he didn't get it done, and he just got worse and worse and worse. I don't think it was enough to salvage the season, because I think what this is typically when you fire a coach mid-season, a lot of times you get this like dead cat jump, where there's a little bit of life injected into the season, and then reality's going to kind of set in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens most of the time. I don't think, had they fired him back in January, I don't think they make the tournament still. Because they started the year 12-2. They had momentum. They were feeling good. Man. And then they just
fell off
lost. They lost 8 out of their next 10. And yeah.
So
I don't know. But
who's the candidates that you would have?
All right, so I've been teasing this
all
week for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a candidate. If I'm Ross Bjork, who is the athletic director, the new athletic director at Ohio State, he left Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to do this, because Ross Bjork was at Washington when they poached Chris Peterson from Boise State. He was at Texas A&M when they poached Jimbo from Florida State. Ross Bjork just loves stealing guys. He just loves stealing a coach from some other school. I don't know why. He gets off on it or something, but I don't think he's going to go this route. But if I'm the athletic director at Ohio State, the first person I'd call is Chris Mack.
Where is Mack?
He's not coaching anywhere.
Mack. Wow, Chris Mack.
Chris Mack. He's from Cincinnati. He took Xavier to their only ever 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. The only time they've ever been a 1 seed was when Chris Mack was their coach.
Yeah, but there's got to be a reason that he's not coaching, though.
He was taking a break.
You think that's what it was? A little hiatus?
He could have been hired.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think there's a reason why he didn't get hired? It's not because he doesn't want to. It's not because he...
I think it's because he didn't want to
at
the time.
So, I
don't think it's because...
I don't know.
Because he's untouchable. Like, he could have got a job at Evansville. That's one of his alma maters. He played at Evansville and Xavier. But he just didn't want to. And he has said publicly now, he's willing to get back into coaching. He's willing to entertain offers. And this was before Ohio State was open. I would go get Chris Mack. His style fits with the Big Ten. It's slow, it's physical, it's grimy. That's what the Big Ten is. I think he would do well at the Big Ten. And Ohio State's a good job.
Oh, it is a good job.
It's a good job in basketball.
Yeah. I mean,
I just think
it's always been that middling tier of decency.
Yeah, they're like a top, probably a top 25 job.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so he flamed out at Louisville. He had a good first couple of years. Got all the way to number 1 in the country his second year.
Yeah.
At one point, but like, you guys probably can't hear. My stomach is going crazy right now. I have no clue why.
Sure is.
It's just hungry for some Mac.
Get out of here.
The return of the Mac, baby.
Get out of here. Okay. Any other candidates you got other than Mac?
Yeah. I mean, that's who I would go after first. I think Sean Miller is going to get the job.
Really?
Yes, I think Sean Miller's going to get
He's at Cincinnati right now?
He's at Xavier.
Xavier. Gotcha.
Same city, but
Right.
he's extremely well respected in coaching circles. They're having a terrible year this year. They're like 13-12 or 14-12 right now. Like, they're not good.
I don't know. Do you go after like one of these coaches in like a lower level division that's doing really well?
Like who?
Like Will Wade at McNeese State.
Will Wade is a guy.
He will definitely pick up the phone.
Yes, he will pick up the phone for anybody.
I mean, like, honestly,
you know what he's getting paid right now?
Probably like $100K.
$700,000 a year. Well, that's because he got a raise mid-season. At the beginning of the year, he was getting paid $200,000.
I mean, like, I'm looking at like a Drake coach and like Darren DeVries, who's having a tremendous season. You also got Indiana State's coach and like Josh Shire. Or sorry, butchered that, but I mean, like, these guys are putting up great numbers right now in like lower level conferences, who have been consistently improving programs. And let's be honest here, Ohio State is in a little bit of a rebuild right now.
A little bit. I mean, they still have talent, though. I mean, how much of that talent are you going to keep?
No, exactly. But I mean, like, to be fair, it's a lot easier to rebuild now. What about like Valentine from like Loyola Chicago? Would he take a job? Drew Valentine? They're having a great year in the A-10.
I don't know.
What about just going away?
Dayton, that's an interesting one.
I mean, Anthony Grant right now, he's having a great season with Dayton. I mean, like,
by the way, Xavier is 13-12. They're having a terrible year right now.
I mean, yeah,
but so,
I mean, it's like guys who know how to coach, but like,
what do you think about Nate Oates? You think they could get Nate Oates?
I want Nate Oates.
I know, but do you think Ohio State could get him?
Yeah. Is Alabama right now? I don't know. Alabama's been building. They've been recruiting really well. Seems like the boosters are invested there. I don't know where they are with Ohio State. I would say right now, currently, Alabama's a better job than Ohio State.
I don't think so. Alabama's a school that cares more about basketball.
State?
Reverse it. Ohio State's a school that cares more about basketball.
No. They're both football schools.
They are both football schools, but they're an administration that cares more about basketball. The fan base, they don't care at all.
I don't know, because I mean, like, the talent that, I mean, Alabama last year was a 1 seed, had Brandon Miller, one and done. Yeah. I mean, now this year they're running with Mark Sears again as a senior. Like, it's got talent. It's been able to recruit.
Okay, but do you think that's Alabama or do you think that's Nate Oates?
I think it's both.
I think it's Nate Oates.
I think at some point to get top talent, with NIL, you now need to have substantial backing, and I feel like Alabama can provide that because of who Alabama is.
But you're always going to be second fiddle to football in a major way. Not the same way at Ohio State.
I think so,
They've been talking about this. They're going to build this new stadium in Alabama for so long. They've never done it. They just keep talking about it. And eventually, Nate Oates is going to leave Alabama, and then everyone's going to be like, we should have built the stadium. I don't think that would have kept him. I think Nate Oates is gone eventually, no matter what. I don't know if it's this year or another year, but
I mean, it's got to be a really good job for him to leave that comfortable of a situation because he's built it into what it is right now.
And he's gonna get money there no matter what.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying though.
But
if I was Nate Oates, I don't think I would go leave what I've established at Alabama to rebuild a program like Ohio State.
How much of that is because you really want Nate Oates?
Oh, I so want Nate Oates.
I know, he's on my list. I want him bad.
I want good offense again. I just want good offense.
Yeah.
Defense can be coached and developed, but gosh, run some great plays. I'm sick and tired of a high pick and roll offense. I feel like we're the NBA here.
But I don't know. I think if I'm Alabama, and I keep mixing them up. If I'm Ohio State, Chris Mack's my first guy. I don't think they're going to go after him. I think they're going to get Sean Miller. I would call Nate Oates. I would call Nate Oates before Sean Miller, personally.
Well, it's like it's the question of like.
What do you think about Greg McDermott?
No, I wouldn't leave Creighton. I think the Big East is a good conference.
It is a good conference. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I think
Big
Creighton.
Ten's a good conference historically too.
Oh no, it is. Both of them are very good. I would say like this year they're kind of par with each other. They've got.
No, I don't think so.
Let me put it this way. I think like each conference has like 3 or 4 teams that are tournament teams, and then like there's like a gap of like, I mean, like the Big East has like, I mean, everyone from Seton Hall down to like Butler is a bubble team.
Yeah, but the thing, not Villanova or Xavier. I think they suck, but I think the Big East is better than the Big Ten this year, personally. But
Yeah.
historically, yeah, the Big East is a better conference than the Big Ten.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave it.
All right,
And you're one of the top dogs in there. Or,
you are, yeah, and you've had it rolling for a while.
Right, exactly. So I wouldn't leave.
Well, who would you hire?
Are they picking up the phone? Like,
Well, who would, let's say you're
Like
Ross
reasonable.
Bjork. Who are you targeting? Which, by the way, Ross Bjork loves to poach a guy. He
Yeah.
loves to get a big name. I'm not so convinced that they're not going to go after Nate Oates because that's just what he likes doing.
yeah, best available that would take the job.
Like, for sure take the job, or do you think? would
Well,
take
like
the
for
job?
sure take the job. It's Will Wade. I don't think there's a question about that.
I would agree with that.
Like that's 100%. I feel like that's a good hire, and he's 100% taking the job.
You think Chris Beard would take the job?
No, because I don't think he would. Chris Beard is a weird one because I don't think I feel like he has some loyalty to Ole Miss, or he's owed some loyalty to Ole Miss.
I doubt that.
Well, let me explain, because it's like they gave him a lifeline. Like I don't think he'd be coaching right now if it wasn't for Ole Miss.
Nah, there would be some.
I mean,
there'd
with
be
all the
some
allegations and
mid-major.
everything, you know.
There'd be some mid-major that, you know.
You know, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like he owes Ole Miss, like Jeff Brom did to Purdue, like for a couple of years of doing something. That's the way I feel.
I don't know.
I feel like that's a decent comparison.
I don't think that's a great comparison.
Well, I mean, like Jeff Brom obviously wanted to come to Louisville, but it wasn't right.
Yeah, but he was
for-
also a coach before Purdue. He was a head coach at Western.
right. I'm aware of that, but I'm just saying, like,
I think they're different scenarios.
it's just too soon, though. If it's so weird to jump ship after 1 year at a program where you're not getting fired.
What about Will Wade?
Will Wade got fired. Will Wade.
So did Chris Beard.
Yeah. Well, my point exactly. I'm talking about, well, he's at a new place now. Or with Will Wade, it's basically he's at LSU. I mean, no offense, Ole Miss is different than McNeese State. I feel like we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
One's making $700K, one's making millions. I think there's a drastic difference there.
I mean, yeah.
One's
but
playing in a Power 5 conference. McNeese State,
But also-
name the conference they're in.
Southland.
Exactly. They're like the 26th best conference in the nation.
Were you hoping I didn't know the name of the conference?
No, I knew the name
Okay.
too. I was just...
But Ole Miss is like one of the worst power conference jobs in basketball. It's a terrible job.
I wouldn't go for him either.
I mean, I wouldn't either, personally.
I feel like you go for one of these guys in like the A-10 or Missouri Valley or like McNeese State. I feel like you go for that mid-tier, mid-range guy that's the top there, see if he can make the next step.
But I don't think Ross Bjork's going to do that. He loves poaching a guy.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It seems like the safe, like financial risk hire. You too.
They paid $15 million to fire Holtman. They paid $15 million. That's huge for basketball.
Yeah,
they
I know.
don't care about the financials.
Or maybe they...
Also, this is the same guy that paid like $76 million
To Jimbo?
to fire Jimbo. He's just throwing money around.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it's not good business if you keep making these bad
He
hires
has
for these
personally made two people the highest paid employees in their state within like a 4-month span.
Yeah, yes.
Probably less than that.
I mean, I don't think... Let me put it this way. I think you're like, oh, this is his reputation. He's going to keep doing it.
I think he's going to.
I think it's like, okay, now's the time to make the safe hire financially.
No. He at 2 stops.
What more money do
At
they
2
have?
stops, he spent over $90 million. He does not care about the safe financial move.
Then
He doesn't care.
Why does this man have a job if he's just blowing away money?
Because
Hey,
he poaches guys.
Russ
I don't
Bork,
know.
hire me. I'll come coach Ohio State.
Yeah, I'll take a buyout of like $20,000, man. I'll do it.
20,000.
I don't have a lot of money,
Fair enough.
but I mean, it's just what I think he's gonna do. I think he's gonna steal either Sean Miller or try to go after Nate Oates, and because that's what he has done, that's what he likes to do. I think that's what he's going to continue to do. And that's why I don't think he's going to get Chris Mack. Even though I think he should get Chris Mack.
I think Chris Mack needs to just. He's kind of on like a reset. I feel like Ohio State is a. If he gets Ohio State, that's a big job for him.
It is.
Because he's.
It's bigger than Xavier, yeah.
Well, he's fallen off completely almost. And then he's coming back. Like, I feel like what would be a good hire? Like Chris Mack going to like a
Michigan. They're about to be open probably.
Oh, the 1000% they're going to be open.
Yeah.
I don't know.
DePaul's open.
DePaul would be interesting.
You think he'd take that job?
Nope.
Yeah. You don't think he wants to coach against his old buddy?
Oh, I think he would love to be in the Big East. I just think anyone but DePaul.
Do you think he's going to take a non-power conference job? Think he's going to take a mid-major job?
I mean, I could see it personally. Like if Mountain West is looking nice, if any of those become available and like one of those coaches leave for a bigger job.
I don't know if he'd go that far west though. He's an East Coast guy.
I know.
He's a Midwest East Coast guy.
I don't see him going Pac-12. Like an A-10, Missouri, not Missouri Valley. Missouri Valley's pretty low. They're kind of playing up right now. But like an A-10, I think is good. Like if Drew Valentine leaves, like an American, go to like an American conference team. Like USF is playing well. See if their coach goes somewhere. Maybe Dustin May leaves. Take the Florida.
Dustin May will leave.
Then Florida Atlantic job. I feel like that's perfect.
I don't know. I think he can hold out for a better job.
I think that's around the caliber. It's an FAU job. Team with a little recent history, but can like run their conference.
I don't think they can run their conference.
No, not right now. They were down by like 20 against USF yesterday on Sunday.
Storming back though.
Oh yeah, it was close, but they
cut it down to 1 at one point.
Yeah, they just couldn't close it out. I literally was watching that game while watching the women's game at the women's game.
Yep. All right. Well, this is so. You think Memphis is kind of
they're falling off.
They're stumbling.
They're falling off. They went from like.
Do you think they're gonna fire Penny Hardaway?
He keeps recruiting.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of.
But they haven't been able to winning. I mean, at one point they were ranked 15th, and I said
they were high.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they're overranked, and then
I didn't believe it. I'll be honest.
Like FAU and Memphis were supposed to be the two top teams in the American, and it's just not happening.
USF and Charlotte.
Yeah, it was supposed to be FAU, Memphis, and SMU were like the three projected like tournament teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we'll see. I mean, shout out to USF; they're playing really good ball right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly forgot the question.
If Penny Hardaway is gonna get fired.
Oh, nah, not yet. He's only been there, 2-3 years?
No, he's been there for longer than that.
Really?
Yeah, he's been there for a little while.
He's been there
He was there during the whole FBI stuff.
Oh, wow. He's been there 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
James Wiseman was in the...
Oh, yeah.
He, suspended James Wiseman for a couple games, and then they brought it back.
Yeah.
Everyone made a big fuss about it.
He's only made 2 tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's mediocrity, but...
It is mediocrity. At a program that,
has a little bit of history with Cal.
They do have good history, even before that.
Really?
Yeah. Memphis is a pretty good program.
Were they in... Louisville played them a good bit.
Yeah, they used to be in the same conference.
What, Conference USA?
Conference USA, the Metro Conference, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It used to be Memphis State, too.
Gosh, they've just fallen off a cliff. They're 7. Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Okay.
Let's move on. More basketball stuff. Adam Silver says the NBA is reassessing the status of the G League moving forward, but isn't sure what the future of the program is. And he said the introduction of NIL has definitely complicated things. So here's the thing. I have held this view personally for a long time. The NBA could just get rid of the one and done rule. Yep. They can just let people go right out of high school. I don't think they want to. No. I think they want the G League to compete with college basketball.
So it's not the G League. It's the G League Ignite. It's the one team within the G League.
Yes.
That is made up solely of kids straight out of high school.
Yeah.
Who wanted that option of developing their basketball skills and didn't feel like school was for them. Which for some kids is a good option. Allows you to focus on your craft, not have to worry about studies.
Jay Scrub.
Limit distractions.
Your classmate. Was he in your class? Did you have a class with Jay Scrub?
I had a what was it called? Film study class with him.
So yes, you did have a class with Jay Scrub.
Yes.
NBA player Jay Scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, G League Ignite would have been great for Jay Scrub.
It would have been.
Like, also would have been great under Patino, but whatever.
You went to community college.
Okay.
Well, he balled out in JUCO.
Great. It's great.
Made it to the league that way. There's multiple different routes to take it.
I know, but he was on the radar before.
Well, it's also like the question now. It's like when it comes to the Ignite, the idea of the Ignite was like they're finally paying players hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They're paying the top guys a lot of money.
Right, a lot of money to come and play.
I think there's people that get that league minimum for the G League that go in there expecting to be paid a ton, but they save all that money for like the top guys to compete with NIL.
Well, anyway, this was before NIL was a thing. Ignite was a thing.
Yes.
And then everyone's like, this is where all the talent goes. It's going to ruin the college basketball. Now that college basketball has NIL, the Ignite is suffering.
And because Dartmouth was recently granted to the ability to unionize by the NLRB, there's a chance that students could be employees and they could get paid. So on top of getting NIL.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what that happens moving further. But as far as like the point of like affecting the G League and then affecting college sports or college basketball more so, it's basically just I lost my train of thought. Shit.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it alive. I think they can keep it alive. Mm-hmm. They have the money. I don't know why I said that's so weird. Money. But it'll be interesting to see if the NBA wants to keep it alive. Because I have long believed, like I said, to start this segment, the NBA wants to have the top talent. They want to compete with college basketball. They want people to watch the G League instead of college basketball.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they're ever going to get
But there's also something to be said about college life and being the guy on campus and those aspects of college that are like not necessarily mentioned but like understood.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, what's not to love 20,000 people cheering on your name compared to a gym full of
Luke May.
20 scouts.
After Luke May,
UNC player.
Yeah, when he hit that game-winning shot against Kentucky.
Yeah.
In the Elite Eight.
He had class the next day.
He had a class the very next day. It was like an 8 a.m. class too.
Yeah.
Went to class, got a standing ovation. And it was a lecture hall too, so it was a very big class. Got a standing ovation, and then just did class. Right. Which I'm shocked. It's UNC. They're not really known for their academics. So I'm surprised he was actually in class.
Oh my God.
It's notably a garbage university. Everyone's taking Swahili.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I think all their athletes majored in paper.
Did they know?
They majored in getting that paper.
Well, let me tell you.
Paper classes is what I'm referencing if you didn't get that.
Oh my God.
But anyway, no, it'll be interesting to see how this progresses because the NBA can keep this going. The question is, do they want to keep this going?
I think they do. I think they. Well,
how badly?
Because they wanted to keep it going. It's just now there's a market of competition to compete against.
And also, I think the problem is that the problem is March Madness. March Madness is so entertaining. It is so good. It is the best postseason format of any sport. Any sport. Jesus Christ, my stomach is going crazy. We'll have to see if that picks up or not. That's insane. I just ate lunch too. I don't know what's going on.
Funny.
Anyway,
but yeah,
it's the best sport, and they don't have anything like this because you're always going to have the same teams in the same.
Well, it's also like, what's the selling point for the Ignite compared to top elite blue blood programs that they're competing against? And the answer is before was a lot more money. That was
a lot more money over the table.
over the table, and also not a lot issues when it comes to like just being able to focus on your craft, not have to do school, something that you don't want to focus on. Because let's be real, some of these guys, not all these guys, some of these guys do not care about the education. Their main goal is to get to the league.
Yeah, but
as far as it goes, it's like we'll see what comes of it. But I feel like the recruiting point is not what it once was for the Ignite.
Yeah, no. And because they only have so much money to give that top dollar to so many players, they can't give it to everybody.
No, exactly. And then speaking of recruiting, Oklahoma State's head coach Mike Boyan, I think I butchered that, talks about changing the changes in recruiting that came and the challenges now faced with NIL. Talked about on how he recently, or a couple of years ago, was recruited the number one recruit and number one overall pick, Cade Cunningham, and talked about on how like the reason why he was able to get Cade Cunningham is because he was there more than Bill Self. He was there more than John Calipari. He built that rapport with Cade over the course of 4 years of recruiting him. And Cade and him built a relationship, and they trusted him to come here, and he knew that Cade felt that he was going to do right by him. Whereas now, that's not the case when you have recruits to even get them on campus. It's like, hey, I'm being offered $500,000 over here. What do you have to offer? And it's like, I don't necessarily have that, you know? So it's like some of the disadvantages of NIL now is that you have these lower level programs who aren't able to compete, whereas once they were sort of able to compete in the sense of like building a relationship with the guy. But now that's not even enough because now it's turned into what he liked to call free agency.
I mean, Cade Cunningham was probably getting paid at Oklahoma State.
Well,
you know, I think.
Well, it's not even.
Oklahoma State's having a bad year, so I feel like this is him trying to buy himself some like guys. It's NIL. It's because I don't have enough money. That's
well,
why
even with Cade, they didn't make the tournament.
They didn't.
No.
I mean, I believe it, but.
I mean, like Mike Boyan, Cade was the first guy he's ever coached in the NBA. They weren't a very successful program to begin with, but it is interesting to think about on how like. It's not just about being there anymore as far as recruiting. You now have to have your I's dotted and your T's crossed when it comes to talking to these high schoolers about what you're offering as far as like money goes. He was only there 1 year. I forget what year it was.
No, they made it to the tournament his year.
Really?
And wait, NCAA Division I second round. Yeah.
Okay.
They made it to the round of 32.
Okay. Gotcha. And then they got ineligible for Cade.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Fair enough.
I did not know Brad Underwood was the coach at Oklahoma State for a year.
No clue.
Brad Underwood's at Illinois.
Oh.
Man.
Gotcha.
Good coach at Illinois. Jesus. I don't know what's going on.
What'd you eat?
I just had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's it.
Jeez. This must have been some peanut butter.
It's crunchy.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
I think there's always truths in what a lot of people say, but also I think a lot of this is trying to buy himself some favor with
it's like right now it's like we don't know what recruits are being offered, nothing's being said, but then it's also more interesting to hear coaches say hypothetically of what other guys are getting at other places.
Did you see what Tulsa's football coach said about NIL and
No
how
clue.
he uses it to recruit?
Oh, I did. I forget the quote, but yeah, I did.
Said he was asked. A reporter asked him how he uses NIL in his recruiting, and he's like, "Well, I don't." One recruit said, "Hey, I'm thinking about transferring here. I was getting $6,000 to $7,000 a month at my last place. I got a girlfriend and 2 dogs. What do you got for me?" He's like, "Well, first I'd say get rid of the dogs. Maybe the girlfriend too. I don't know. Depends on how needy she is. And then come here. And if you get anything, you get anything. Because I can't guarantee anything."
Well, it's also weird rules within NIL is like coaches have to be aware of what NIL is and understand it, but also they can't be in the know on like exactly what each player is getting.
They're not supposed to use it technically as a recruiting device, even though everybody does.
It has to be though, because that's at the forefront of everyone's mind.
The coaches aren't allowed to use it as a recruiting device.
Oh,
You
boosters.
can, on a recruiting trip, if someone else happens to talk to you that's not a head coach or you're not a part of the coaching staff, then you can learn about, hey, if you're here, this is the NIL offer, or this is the NIL package you're being offered. A coach is not allowed to do it.
But that's such a weird rule.
Of course it's weird. Of course it's stupid. It's the NCAA. They make their bed, and then they're like, why is this bed so messy? Do I have to lay in this now? Are you kidding me?
I would say it's not a made bed then.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. A great detective work, Watson.
You're welcome.
It's just, it drives me nuts.
All right.
But
so another recruiting story we have is Rick Pitino talking about how he...
That's a fun one.
Oh, my God. So Rick Pitino, after the loss, St. John's lost 78-72 to Seton Hall last week. And in the post-game press conference, Rick Pitino basically just basked the entirety of St. John's in the existence of the basketball team and facilities. And it was kind of remarkable. Here's the quotes, verbatim of what he said. The most unenjoyable experience of my life. Do we have shitty facilities? Yes, we do. Having shitty facilities has nothing to do with not guarding.
That's true.
And then he proceeded to go on and target each individual player on the team.
Yeah.
He said, look, Joel Soranio, who is their best player, is slow laterally. He's not fast on the court. Chris Lundum is slow laterally. Sean Conaway slow laterally. Brady Dunlap's is physically weak. Drizzt Traore is slow laterally. I mean, he just went out and that's his starting five, basically. He just basically said, you're slow, you're slow, you're slow, you're weak, you're slow.
So
and then
he talked about how
he's like, the season's over.
I mean, God, they're 14-12 right now.
He said, lost the season the way we recruited. And then I kind of saw that quote and I was like, weren't you the one that did the recruiting though?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he got players in that are good. It's just, it is what he said. He likes fast players. I mean, if you look at New Mexico right now with Rich Pitino, they just push the pace on offense and defense, and he doesn't have that right now.
No, it's so funny though, because it's like, he was like, so tell me about why he lost this game. And then it's like, he just thought of everything that was wrong within the program, and he just blew up.
So a few things. First thing,
he said,
in 2013,
our gyms are shit. Bench press is shit.
In 2013, when during Louisville's national championship year, with Rick Pitino as the coach, after the loss, for those who don't know, the last loss of the season that year for Louisville was a 5 overtime loss to Notre Dame.
Yep.
The game ended at like 1 a.m. And or whatever. Like it started at a normal time and it ended super, super late.
It's like a January, February game, yeah.
Yes. And so that was the last loss of the year. On the plane ride back to Louisville from South Bend, he was like up in the front, everyone's in the back.
And to let everyone know, that's like a 30-minute plane ride.
Yeah. He called every single person back individually and just ripped them. And then when he's done ripping, he's like, bring me Siva. And he ripped him. He's like, bring me Gorgie. And he ripped him. Bring me Russ. And he just ripped them all. And just tore into every single one of them the entirety of the plane ride. So that's very similar to this, except it's two very different situations as far as the season.
One was a national championship. The other one's maybe not even going to sniff the NIT.
They're not on the bubble. There was a chance. There was a point where they could have made the bubble, but they've lost like 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's their problem. But
hey, to be fair to him, he said it's a good group. It's a good group. Then they try hard. They're just not very tough. So he did like come back and say like, hey, they're nice. They just suck at basketball.
And that's the thing. That's the thing is. So he brought in 9 recruits 9 transfers. Recruits, transfers.
And everyone had him preseason ranked top 25 because of it.
Not everyone. Some people did. I did personally.
I did not.
I did mainly because I just trusted Pitino.
Right.
But I think this among other situations kind of goes to show Penny Hardaway right now is another one. You can't just like. You can get lucky and like pop in the transfer portal and just get a class that just they gel and they're full of talent and they're they're great. It's a great class.
Same
and
thing can go
like they've
for
got
one
that
and dones.
chemistry. Yes, same thing with one and dones. But if you want to consistently win, you can't pop every single year. It's just not possible. And so you can't bring in 9 transfers every single year and expect to consistently win at a high level. And so he's going to have to keep some of these guys. He's going to have to build on something. He has to have stable ground to build a program. And if he's doing this, it's different if he's doing this and it's, it's
Behind
whatever.
closed doors.
Yeah.
It's another thing to do.
This is very public. This got out.
Well, it's not like it got out. He sat down in front of a microphone after a game and said it all.
But this is very public.
I thought it was weird that he bashed the St. John's facility and the St. John's at like departments and everything, because I was like, that's your employer.
Yeah, but
I mean, is this just a move by Pitino to be like, screw this place, I'm done, fire me?
no, he's not. That's not it. Trust me, that's not it.
All right.
He does not want to get fired at St. John's. I mean, he just came from Iona. Like, Iona has worse facilities. They're a smaller school with less money in the same city. So,
Did not know that.
yeah, they're both in New York.
I knew they were both in New York. I just didn't know they were both in New York. New York.
Yeah. And so, he's not saying that to, like, screw it, I'm going to, burn the doors on my way out. He's yelling. He's mad. He's just screaming because he had terrible facilities at Iona.
Mm-hmm.
And they won. They made the tournament 2 out of 3 years. And that one year that they didn't make the tournament, they should have. They just got upset in their conference championship.
Yeah.
And so, or maybe it's the semis. I don't know. But, yeah. So, I mean, publicly yelling like this, though, about your own players is not a great look, especially when you are going to have to keep some of these guys to build. Jesus Christ, my stomach. I don't know what's happening right now. I'm not even hungry.
It's all right.
I might have IBS. I'm not sure. We'll see.
We'll
We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I just said we'll see. It's like a tick. I just leaned into it.
I hope I'm not here for that.
You'll see. Don't worry.
I don't want to
You'll
see.
see if I have
I
it or not.
don't want to see. Hell no. This recording's over. If
Don't
that's
worry.
the case.
I'll keep you up. I'll keep you in the loop.
This podcast is just ended right then and there.
But
We're friends. I don't think we're that close of friends.
do you have anyone that you're that close with?
Family, maybe, but
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know.
All right. Holy shit.
Well, anyway, do you want to talk about
I want to talk about Washington, what
yeah,
they're doing.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Let's talk about Washington.
All right.
Tell me about them.
So Washington football, since they've hired Jedd Fisch from Arizona, Jedd Fisch apparently, it looks like he's making a concerted effort to go out and hire well-known names established in NFL football. So to give you an idea, he has hired the sons of Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, Jack Del Rio, and John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers, on the coaching staff at University of Michigan. Stephen Belichick is his defensive coordinator. Brendan Carroll is the offensive coordinator. Luke Del Rio is the offensive analyst. Jake Lynch is a defensive grad assistant. Finch came out in in a press conference and basically said, this is intentional. We are trying to get guys who have been around the NFL game, know what it's like to be at the next level, and knows what it takes to be at the next level. And I think that's one of his recruiting pitches to recruits now, is like, we have guys not just of the ability to get you to the next level, but also have connections to the next level, which is like, it's a very good point and very valid.
I mean, and the guys he's going out and getting, Stephen Belichick, very, very highly respected.
He's a very good defensive mind for the Patriots. Yeah,
I think that's a great hire for him, a defense coordinator. Pete Carroll, one of the best offensive minds in college and the NFL.
And we'll see what his son does.
Yeah. Jack Del Rio is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. I don't think he's a defense coordinator right now, but
right. His son's offensive though, but yeah.
John Lynch,
he's
fantastic GM, fantastic safety when he played.
Yeah,
it's a great hire.
I mean,
this is fantastic. A fantastic strategy for Fisch.
I mean, if these guys' loins are as good as they are, as good
as you think you would expect them to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like they're going out there and competing. I mean, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like if they can just transfer the what is the word I'm looking for? Information and like tendencies and all these other things, like the strategy behind the game, to their sons.
Yeah, and this is actually a similar approach that Harbaugh took with his defense a few years ago. Kind of like what propelled them to go on that knowing everybody's plays beforehand, but like what helped them propel themselves to a string of 3 straight playoff appearances. He went out. He just like picked apart the Ravens' position players at defense. He stole Mike McDonald, who is now the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. Oh. He stole him, made him the defense coordinator, stole a bunch of other position players, gave them jobs as position players or position coaches on Michigan's defense. And it worked. It paid off in a major way. Their defense was incredible. And so
it'll be interesting to see because Washington's now in a harder conference. Mm-hmm. So it will be interesting to see not just that transition, but also
they lost a lot of talent.
It's a new regime. It's new everything coming in now.
There's going to have to be some patience by Washington.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all this is new. I don't think any of these guys have worked together before. I mean, you have a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new head coach. Like, it's an entirely new system that's coming in.
And it makes you kind of curious. Why didn't he just bring all these guys from
Arizona? I don't know.
Was he like, look, I was doing it in spite of you guys. You were the best I could get down there in Tucson.
Because isn't that a normal thing, is to bring your guys with you?
A lot of your guys, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very, very normal thing. Generally a very expected thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Also, the other idea is like maybe these are bad hires because they're just getting hired off of name recognition.
Potentially. I think Steven Belichick is someone that is well respected in coaching circles. The other guys I can't really speak to, but they definitely do come from intelligent football families.
Yeah. The great successes from all those families.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I'm very interested to see how it plays out.
Yep.
I think it's great for the Huskies faithful. All right, we got anything else? Or we
anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't think so. All right, let's just do the pick'ems.
All right, let's do it.
Get it done. Get her done.
All right.
First up, we have UConn at Creighton. UConn just destroyed Marquette.
Are they the consensus one after that?
Yes, absolutely.
They're just the team.
Purdue lost. The only other team that I think you like put in that category right now is Houston.
So funny thing, could UConn's loss win over Marquette be bad for them? And I'll tell you why. No team since 2013 as a true number 1 overall seed has won the tournament.
No. No, because they're really good.
They are very good.
They could lose in the tournament, but they're still really good.
They are. Give me UConn over Creighton.
Yeah, I'm taking UConn as well. Next, we got Baylor at BYU.
I really like Baylor in this one.
I do too. BYU's hanging around. You know,
it's a very volatile team. They live and die by that 3-pointer.
Yes. And Baylor has kind of adjusted their game to where they have early in the year they were the best 3-point shooting team.
So it is interesting. Baylor, really good offense. BYU, really good offense. BYU, little good defense. Baylor, not that great of a defense. Very similar to Kentucky in the way they play. I believe they're 4th in offensive efficiency and like 74th in defensive efficiency.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm still picking Baylor in this one, but
I am too. But that's just because the trajectories the teams are going on. I think
yes, absolutely.
They've won 5 out of 6. They're playing really well right
now. They are.
All right. Next, we have San Francisco at St. Mary's.
It's not going to be close.
St. Mary's has the longest winning streak in the country.
They are rolling the WCC right now.
Yeah.
They might. I think they'll go undefeated in the WCC.
I don't know if they could lose to Gonzaga.
They beat the snot out of Gonzaga. Well, they won by 2.
They didn't beat the snot. That's
let me rephrase. They won 64-62. I'm thinking of a different.
They also
team.
Gonzaga I will say got screwed at the end of that game.
They did.
On 2 terrible calls.
Very bad calls. But at the same time, though, it was at Gonzaga. Gonzaga's got to go and play at St. Mary's next.
This has happened before, though. This happens all the time where, Team A will beat Team B on their home court, and then Team B will turn around and beat Team A on their home court.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, I mean, for this game, though, I got St. Mary's. Next up, we have San Diego State at Utah State. San Diego State had a great week.
Yeah, they did.
Had two big wins in the Mountain West.
And also, kind of unfortunate the way that we're timing these recordings because each week they come out with the top 16 for the bracket. The committee does.
Yeah.
San Diego State was
talk about that.
San Diego State was the 16th team that made it.
Yeah, which I'm shocked by.
I think it's valid.
Did you know that's not the same committee as the selection committee?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a different committee. So they put this out just like to give people
like a teaser,
just like to throw slop at in the Lions' den, just to watch all the Lions attack it.
Okay.
And they're like, haha, look, you're talking about it, and then a different committee goes and does it.
Well, then what's the point? I didn't know that.
To drum up interest.
It's working.
I mean, they've done it for 8 years in a row now.
Yeah, it definitely works. Yeah. I'm taking San Diego State over Utah State though.
I am too. I like San Diego. They're playing well right now.
They are playing very well.
They're playing very well right now. Utah State they're not playing great. No one. It doesn't really seem like anyone in that conference is separating themselves. Like there's about 5 or 6 teams in that conference that are good. That are good teams, and they just kind of keep beating each other up.
I feel like the odd man out is going to be Nevada
Or Boise.
I feel like Boise's good enough to get in.
I think they've got some good wins. I think they're going to get in too. But
I think Nevada's the one team that's out right now.
Yeah, I don't think they've. Yeah, but I'm taking San Diego State. Florida at Alabama. I like both of these teams a lot. I think they're both very good.
Florida's playing very well. Fun fact: I've ranked them this week.
I had them ranked last week too.
Yeah, I have them ranked now.
That's great.
I'm still going to take Alabama just because it's at home.
Yeah. And they both play very similar.
Is
they don't
Allen
play a lot
Fieldhouse?
Of
No, that's not. That's Kansas.
Allen Field, yeah, that's Kansas.
What's the name of the Alabama?
Alabama? I don't have any clue.
Fair enough. Give me Alabama.
They play in Tuscaloosa. I know that. All right, Colorado State at New Mexico. You gave me such a terrible team. They just keep losing.
Dude, as soon as I gave them to you, they fell off, and I apologize.
I gave you Bama.
Yeah,
they played themselves into the top 25.
Yeah, and thank you, because I want the coach now.
You fallen in love?
I've already been in love.
All right. Look, I can't pick against them. My Lobos.
I mean,
they have take New Mexico.
Since I've had them given to you, they've gone 2-3, and yeah, I'm still gonna pick them with you. I'm going New Mexico over Colorado State.
Yeah, it's at home. I mean, it is easier to slow a game down than it is to speed it up, and Colorado State plays a slow style of ball.
And New Mexico is very fast.
Yeah, but I've still got New Mexico in this one. Mm-hmm. All right, SMU at FAU. FAU, they're such a weird team.
They're sliding.
They're so up and down.
They could be like Gonzaga and miss the tournament.
No, they're not missing the tournament.
They could be like Gonzaga and miss the tournament. I'm being serious.
They're not going to miss the tournament.
They're third right now in the American behind Charlotte and USF.
They have 2 ranked non-conference wins. They beat Arizona, who's top 5.
I'm well aware of that.
They're going to make the tournament. That's not a debate right now.
Really? Because I'm going with the Mustangs here.
I'm taking FAU to bounce back. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Dusty May can't get his guys up for games.
I've watched their games. It is not impressive. It is not. It screams first round exit if they do make the tournament.
I mean, I'm there with you. They don't play any defense this year, but I could talk to you about this. Might be another episode where I talk to you about Dusty May. I might do it off camera. I'm not sure, but
all right.
I'm going FAU with this one, and they're in the tournament. They're going to the tournament.
I don't know if they continue to slide. Like if they still got Memphis on their schedule, they still got SMU on their schedule. They still have to play Charlotte. Like they lose all those.
I don't.
They've already lost to USF. They've fallen. They barely beaten. They barely beat like Rice. Like it's just not impressive.
Yeah, but I think they're in. All right, moving on. We got Houston at Baylor. This is a tough one. Houston probably going to be the 3rd ranked team in the country. Were they before? They might have been ranked before already.
They're around there, yeah.
But Baylor, this is there's a good chance this is a top 10 matchup
Yeah.
by the time the rankings come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big game. It's at Baylor. Houston is much worse at home, on the road than are at home.
I think they've never lost at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Houston still.
I'm gonna take Houston. Houston struggles against good defensive teams. They seem to lock
Didn't you
up.
just say Baylor was bad defensively?
Yes, they do poorly against
Oh.
good defensive teams.
I just not processed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Houston does poorly against bad defensive teams, and they do really well against good offensive teams. So it's like the offense is Houston's kryptonite. Like, I feel like they might struggle tonight against Ohio State, you know?
Iowa State.
Yeah, I said Ohio. Yep, Iowa State. But give me Houston this one. I do think even in Waco they should get the win.
All right, next we got Duke at Wake Forest. Wake Forest really needs to start winning some of these games to make the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Duke, they're kind of hitting their stride. They've got a fairly young team, and young teams tend to just get better and better.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, I'm going to take Wake Forest. I'm
Nah.
taking Wake Forest.
Jared McCain has been on fire from
Absolutely.
3. They've started to look really good. I think Duke is looking hot, and they could win the ACC tournament.
They could, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go
Especially
with
because
Duke.
it looks like North Carolina's defense is falling off.
They're shaking a little bit, but yeah.
All right, next up we got BYU at Kansas State. This is another matchup of a team that
Needs to find a way to start winning now.
they need to win a lot of games to make the
Kansas State has really
they don't
fallen.
really have any wiggle room. I think they have 10 losses right now.
I mean, they are definitely sitting towards the bottom of that Big 12 conference right now. They are right now. They are 5 and 7th, sitting in.
Yeah, 15-10 overall.
Yeah.
They're definitely near the bottom of the conference.
They're in 11th place right now.
And I don't think it's going to get fixed. They just don't have the offensive firepower. I think BYU's going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with BYU as well, but who knows? Maybe Jerome Tang and that. Holy crap, they've lost. Kansas State has lost
What is that, 7 out of 8?
6 out of 7. Their only win is against Kansas in overtime.
Yep.
In that time.
You can't beat them in OT. You can't beat them in OT.
Oh my gosh, they have 6 overtime wins.
He's 12-0 in overtime in his career. Jerome Tang is. All right. So we're in agreement there. BYU. Next up, we've got South Carolina at Ole Miss. Going back to the SEC for this one. The rest of these, they're just going to stay down south, guys.
I mean,
South Carolina at Ole Miss.
South Carolina was looking really good. They were like 20-3 or something like that. They were
21-3.
Yeah, they were playing really well, and then they had a really bad week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Ole Miss. I like the way they're playing right now.
I'm going South Carolina. Both of these teams are kind of on a downward trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
I just think South Carolina has better players. I think they're both well coached. Ole Miss is probably better coached just because Chris Beard's X's and O's wise. Chris Beard's like a top 5 coach in the sport. But I like South Carolina's players more, and I think they're going to win. All right. Keeping it down south, like I said, North Carolina versus Virginia at Virginia. Like I said earlier, North Carolina's defense, which was elite in the middle part of the season, not so much now. They're allowing more points to be scored on them. Offense is still good. They're still North Carolina.
Which will be interesting because Virginia's the exact opposite. Not that great of an offensive team, but really good defensively.
But they're getting better. Virginia is getting better. They
did. They were on a good win streak, and then they slipped up against who they slipped up against.
Yeah, they lost a game that they should not have.
They
had one of the longest winning streaks.
They
in the
lost to
country.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
And then they
Pittsburgh actually they're hot right now.
They are, and then they just barely beat a good Wake Forest team in a very low scoring game.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Virginia.
I'm gonna go with North Carolina.
Yeah,
I think North Carolina is just still a really good team.
I think both of these teams should make the tournament, and I have to say that because the ACC is, I feel like, getting a little bit of disrespect right now. They're not amazing. I understand that. I think they should have more tournament teams than
I have
people are expecting.
4, maybe 5 getting in.
I think it should be Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, Wake should get in, and then as of now, Pittsburgh.
No, I don't think Pitt.
I think Pitt's playing themselves.
I think
in.
it's 4. I think
Pitt's playing themselves in. All right, moving on. We've got Alabama at Kentucky. This one, oh my God, This is just going to be an NBA game.
It is. It's going to be 110 to 120.
And the team scoring 120 is going to be the team that scored 100 points 2 games in a row, Alabama.
Yep, I like Alabama in this one.
Yeah. Do you know they might set a record for the most 100-point games scored in a season?
Really?
It's absurd.
What's the record?
I don't know, but I saw that they were approaching it. But they have scored 100 points in back-to-back games.
They have one.
Their
two,
offense is just insanely
3,
good.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 games with 100, and 2 of them, another 2 at 99. Well, no, 1 at 99. So yeah, very high scoring.
Yeah, and then Kentucky also phenomenal offense. I mean, they're one of the best offenses in the country.
Yep. And both very bad defenses.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's watching.
This game is going to be fast. It's going to run. It's going to be a lot of possessions with a lot of scoring. Should be fun to watch.
Yep. All right. Who'd you pick, by the way?
Alabama.
Your guy. Your one true love. All right. FAU at Memphis is our final pick'em.
I hate this game.
This is an interesting one because Memphis is definitely slipping. FAU's slipping a little bit too, but I mean, I'm taking FAU in this.
I'm taking FAU because Memphis is worse, but this is not a game that I would recommend people watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. But that's our pick'em.
Absolutely.
That was a bit of a slow way to end it. Sorry, everybody.
It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.